Morning men, starboard 10, the buffer. Right, today, oh, I like that one. Do you know, you should never laugh at your own jokes, they say, but I quite like my jokes. And so if you don't laugh at your own jokes, they can't be funny, can they? Who knows? Anyway, what I've done today is today's little exercise is, hey, Johnny's got a pair of binos, and these binos came without a nice lanyard. And so what I've done today is I'm going to show you how to tie a simple lanyard for your binoculars, or it could be something else. It doesn't necessarily need to be your binoculars, but here is the lanyard itself. And you can see here the top part of the lanyard, we've just done a very simple Portuguese senet. It then goes down to 2 diamond knots at this point here, and then going a little bit further, from there we've got a nice 4-strand round braid. It then goes into a foot rope knot as such that looks like a diamond knot. No, it's not, it's a man rope knot, sorry, not a foot rope knot. Foot rope knot, the leads come out this way. This is a man rope knot where the leads are eventually tucked down. And then we've got 2 bits of cord here to put through the slots of our binoculars. One thing I've got to say about binoculars, why do they make the attachment hole so small on the binoculars? Who knows? Anyway, so that's what we're going to make today. And when you, because you're the captain, are wearing this, you're going to be the smartest skipper in the fleet. So, without further ado, as they say in the trade, let's get on and make ourselves some nice binocular lanyard. So see you in a sec when we start the knotting. I forgot to say, we're going to do this tutorial from Des Pawson's Knotcraft book, and what I will do is at the end of the video I will put a link to where you can obtain a copy of this book from. I believe this book now has been updated and it has more projects in than the 28 that's listed here, but we're going to actually go into this book and do the binocular lanyard from this book. So let's just get on. So, as you can see, I have got my snake's wedding here. It really does look like a snake's wedding, doesn't it? But basically what I've got is I've got 4 lengths of 3mm paracord here, and don't worry about the measurements. The measurements will be at the end of this video, I promise you. So all you basically need to do is just watch it through, and it's a simple one to make this. Just watch it through on how to make it if you're new to knotting, etc., and you will end up with a really nice lanyard. And so, like I said, all the measurements will be at the end. And the first thing that I'm going to do is sort out my 4 lengths of cord and then tie them off in the middle. So what I will do is I will go ahead and tie those off in the middle, and then I'll come straight back to you. Right, so as you can see, what I've done is I've taken my 4 strands, my 4 lengths, and the 2 longest lengths are on the outside and the 2 shorter lengths are on the inside, and I've tied them with a constrictor knot. And yes, I'm repeating myself again, if you don't know the constrictor knot, go on to the description below, or at the end of this video there will be a link to the constrictor knot, and you will use this constrictor knot on a very regular basis, so it's one of those knots that's really worth learning. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie a Portuguese senet, and the idea, okay, just so you get a little bit of understanding with this, that centre point where we've tied it off just makes it a little bit easier so that we're not ending up with double that amount to work our way through. We've sort of basically split the job in half. We are going to put our Portuguese senet down this way and then that way. So we're going to go in both directions from the middle of the actual lanyard itself. And so, according to the book, let's stick to the book rules. What we're going to do is we're going to tie a Portuguese senet down this way. Some of you may also know this as the cobra stitch, but from what I understand, the proper name for this is the Portuguese senet. So, working only with our two longest outside leads, we then do the Portuguese Senet. And if you haven't seen this before, basically what I do is I take the cord, I've taken the left hand cord, passed it over the two, and then just across to the right hand side here. The next thing I do is take the right hand cord here and I bring it over. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing it over, and what I'm grabbing is I'm grabbing the end, taking the end of that cord, and then once I've got the end of that cord, I'm going to go underneath everything and up through that loop like so. So just take that through like so, keep pulling it through, and because we're starting, there's a lot, okay? But gradually, as you work your way through this knot, your ends become less and less, and so therefore your snake's wedding becomes a little bit more organised looking. Okay, so there's our first one. Just pull that up nice and tight, like so, and we now have our first one tied at the constrictor knot. We can, if we want to now, undo that constrictor knot, but I don't see the point. Right, so we've done the first knot. So we now take the right hand side, pass it over the top of the two cords here, and bring it to the left hand side here. The next thing we do is get the working end of this one. So I'll just go ahead and grab it. Just grab the working end. Once you learn this knot, it's great in front of the telly or something. So pass it, let's see, underneath it. What am I doing? Oh no, sorry. So I'm bringing it across, over, I'm going over. Right, so I've got the working end. I'm going to go over this one, so over this one, then underneath everything and through the gap like so. And just pull in all the cordage. Just pull it gently, don't get any twists in it, just pull it through gently. And then when you get to the right point here, just pull it up nice and tight, and we now have our second knot done. So we did it on the right hand side just then. We're now going back to the left hand side. So left hand side, bring it across and form that loop. Then the right hand end passes over this one here, and if I get that working end, I then pass it underneath everything and back up through that hole there, okay? And then just pull it all through. And what I'll do is I'll show you one more time. For those of you who've never done this particular knot, it's always worth seeing a couple of times, but then I'll repeat it again on the other side as well. So we're starting to get a nice pattern forming here. Pull it up nice and tight, and there we go. Right, so this time I take the right hand side and I form that loop there and pass it over the left and get it out of the way. So I've got my loop there like so. Let's just make sure we're in the middle there. Then I'll take the left hand side, pass it over. So I've passed it over that lead there. I've got the working end here, and then I'm going to bring the working end underneath everything and up through that hole there. Like so, bring it all through, and there we go. And if you want to know why I chose yellow, that's all I had left. There you go, and till you hear it. And you can see here now, gradually, a nice pattern is starting to appear there. Okay, so let's just do that one more time. So this time we go from the left hand side, form a loop there, get that lead out of the way. Bring the right hand side over it, get the end, and then underneath everything, pull it through like so. There we go. And you can see now, there's another one done. So you can see here now, as we work our way down here, we're getting a nice pattern appear. And pull all the ends, make sure it's all nice and tight and firm. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to work down here until I've got a nice length that will rest against the back of my neck when I'm wearing the actual lanyard with the binoculars on, say. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a bit more. When I've done a bit more, I'll come back to you. See you in a minute. Well, for you, it's a second. Right, so what I've done is, I've gone down 6 inches. There's the point from where I ceased from, and I've gone down all the way there, and that is a distance of 6 inches. Let me show you that a bit better. Yeah, so from there to there is 6 inches. Just pull that final one up nice and tight. It won't come undone. You can shake that about. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the seizing out here and then go down 6 inches that end. It's just a little bit easier. We could have started, say for example, at that point there and worked all the way down, but then we're ending up working with all those long leads. It can be a bit of a nightmare. So hopefully, if I undo my constrictor knot, which sometimes can be a little bit difficult to undo, that's the whole idea of the knot, and there we go, I've undone it. So what I'm going to do is just bring my cords down in front of me again, like so. Separate them all out because you don't want them all tangling up, and the 2 long ones should be the outside ones, and the 2 shorter ones should be the inside ones, which it is. And so I'm going to carry on this side. Now, one little trick is that how do you know which side to start your loop on? And the simple fact is here, you can see here that this cord is coming out the front on the left hand side, and that one is going out the back on the right hand side. So what we want to do is tie the next knot so that it reverses it. And the easy way of doing that is just take the right hand one, because if we take the right hand one, you'll see what happens. Take the right hand one and pass it over like so, like we did before, exactly the same as before. So the right hand one is now passing over everything. And the next thing we're going to do is take the left hand lead here over everything, pass it underneath everything, bring it through, which means that the cord is coming out through that side. So we've actually switched sides, so we know which way to do. You'll have your own little trick for recognising it. And the other fact is, you will sometimes get it wrong as well. Okay, and so there we have it. See, if you look here now, this lead here is coming out the front on the right hand side, and this lead is going out of the back on the left hand side. And so once again, we want to swap sides now, form a loop on the left hand side, bring everything over, and then once everything's gone over, go underneath everything and pass it up through the loop. There we go. And that is just simple cobra stitch or Portuguese senet. I think I prefer to call it by its proper name, but the reason it's called, I think, the cobra stitch is because it looks across there when you've done it like the neck of a cobra. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here for another 6 inches so that we end up with a total of 12 inches of a flat, no, it's not fat, it's flat, a flat Portuguese senet that'll go around the back of our neck for our lanyard. Right, so as you can see, I have got 12 inches of flat Portuguese senet at this point here. If you've ever wondered how much cord it uses to create just a simple senet like this, I know for a fact that with the Portuguese senet, for example, for every inch, so that's an inch, you're using 1 foot. So hang on, let's put that in the middle of the camera. So there's my start point for an inch. So put my thumb there and go to 1 inch there. So between my thumb and the end of my blade there, that is 1 inch. That uses about 1 foot of line. So it uses a lot of line. Just be careful. It's always better when you're cutting your materials, etc. Always cut too much because you can often make stuff with the end bits anyway. Don't try and skimp on that, because if, say for example, we run out of cord at this point here, forget it. Undo it and start again. So, you know, always whatever measurements you read anywhere, give yourself a little bit extra till you're used to using it, and then you'll get it right. Okay, so that is now a flat Portuguese senet, and the next thing we're going to do is get on to the next bit. So I'll just prepare myself for that and see you in a second. So the next thing that we're going to do, I've read the book and it's telling me to put a diamond knot in at this point here. In fact, we're going to put 2 diamond knots in, one at this end and one at this end. And basically what I've done is I have separated my leads into 2 groups, and what I'm going to do now is, let's do this, basically bring the back leads over my finger like so, so that I've split it there like that, bring the back leads over my finger like so, and let it hang down. I then take these 2 leads here and basically I twist them, as you will see here, I twist them like so. So basically what I've done is I'm going round like this and then underneath. So just basically pull it round like so to form a twist. Doesn't matter too much if they're crossed, because what we'll do is we'll uncross them in a little bit. Now, as you can see here, that loop is forming over our leads coming from the back. Now with our back leads, what we're going to do is we're going to, just let me point this out to you, we're going to go round here underneath these 2, over those 2, then we're going to go underneath those 2 in there and back over those 2. So if I take my leads like so, I'll get the ends and I'm going to pass them underneath like so. So pass them underneath, pull them round, and then there's so I've gone underneath that set there. Next thing I'm going to do is go over those 2, under these 2 here in the middle of that loop, and then back out over those 2. So let's just tweak that a little bit. I'm going to pull that through a little bit just to make it a bit easier. So I'll pull that middle loop through, and basically this allows me to go straight through. So I'm going over those 2, under those 2, over those 2. So pull that through, and a bit fiddly because there's a lot of chords. There we go. And pull it through, and then what you can see here now is that I have actually made a carrick bend. In here, in this particular knot here, is a carrick bend. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sort out to make sure that my leads aren't crossing over. So where they're crossing over, I'm going to uncross them. It just makes it a little bit neater and easier in the next bit. And then if I go and check this one, I can see here now it's coming through like so. So let's have a look. I want that underneath there, and just basically have it so that they're running parallel to each other and it's all nice and neat. So there we go, and let's see, that one there, just bring it round so it's going over there. And so now we have a nice neat carrick bend where all the leads are running parallel to each other. Right, so having got that, the next thing I do is take both sets of leads, and let's start on this one first. So I'm starting on this one here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it round here. So let's just bring that up, round here, and then where these 2 come out here, I'm going to go round there and then up through the middle at this point here. So up through the middle at that point there. So if you watch this, I'm going to bring it round, and I'll take one lead first. One lead first, up through the middle, and then get the second lead, bring it round and up through the middle. Now I've got a video where I've done this on a larger piece of cord, and so what I'll do is I will show you that at the end of the video as well. I'll put a link into that. And then as I pull it through, and then you can see I've pulled it through, but they're crossed at this point here. So what I'm going to do is just uncross them so that they're parallel to each other, and it keeps it all nice and neat. And there we go. That's my first one through. And so now with this one here, these two leads here, they are going to do exactly the same as we did that side. We're going round the back of those two there. So those two I'm holding on to, round the back and then up through the middle like so. So I'm going to take it round the back and then get the ends. Oh, so difficult when you've got a lot of ends. Right, so I've got one end I can see there. So that'll come round the back and up through the middle. You can put your fingers through, just bring it up through the middle so they all come out. It's a little bit fiddly and I'm finding it difficult to see because I'm trying to get you to see it as well. So that's the first lead through, and then get the end of the second lead, bring it round the back like so and up through the middle. There we go. So up through the middle. There's one and there's two. And just check round, make sure they're parallel to each other. And now I can let go of that piece there, and then gradually what I can do is I can pull up on this, gradually tighten up on it and pull the excess from there, pull it through like so, pull it through like so, and keep pulling it up until all our leads come through nice and tight. So we've got this one here. There we go, pulling it up tight, just grab them and gently pull. And you can see here gradually as I'm doing that, our diamond knot is appearing. And you can see here we've got a crossing here, so what we want to do is uncross that and then we'll go around and tighten again. Uncross it there, it's definitely crossing over there, and then pull it through. And so you can see then now as I'm pulling up we're getting that nice diamond appear. But what we want to do is we want to pull it up tight, so we need to move that knot from that position down to there. And so if we push on our cords here, we'll be able to see which cords we need to pull to actually get it to move up. So I'm going to just pull a bit more, push on one side, pull on the other side, and gradually as we do it we're pulling it up. And I can see here I've got another one crossed here, so let's see, uncross that there, and that's it. That should have taken it out. Where is it coming out? It's coming out just there, and it wants to go under that one. So what we're doing is we're basically making sure that nothing is crossed in our cordage. And then gradually pull it up, and then basically get in there again and pull up some more slack. So find out where it's coming in, push it, push it from the left hand side, pull it on the right hand side, and gradually bring them through. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around and tighten that up a bit more and then come back to you on that. So as you can see, I've now got myself a nice diamond knot just here at the end of my lanyard, and I've just basically gone round and pulled it all up nice and tight. But don't over tighten it, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to crush that piece there. That still wants to remain flat, but pull it up tight so that you end up with a nice diamond shaped knot there on that end. Okay, so that's one side down. Let's go down and do the other side. Just untangle it a bit because all my twisting has tangled it up. In fact, it's quite tangled up. You'll get used to it, all the tangles. Okay, so let's do that again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to separate my two cords out like so. Just separate them out evenly. And then what I'm going to do is just pass them over my finger like so. So what I've done is I've split the two cords, passed them over my finger like so, and I'm going to let this cord here come down, and then this one here I'm just going to grab like this and put a twist in like so. So basically I'm just putting a twist in over that cord, those two cords there. So just basically grab hold of it like that and put a twist in. Okay, once again don't worry too much if they cross over, because we're going to uncross them shortly. And then the next thing we're going to do is take the bottom two. Sorry, I've just moved that one over. Okay, let's bring it back to normal. So I've twisted it like so. The next thing I'm going to do is take these bottom ones here and pass them underneath those two leads we've got there. So I'm just going to help that along a bit. Let's go underneath those two there, bring it round, and then let's just show you that. So basically what I've done is those two leads there are now going underneath these two here. And what I'm going to do is, just to make it a little bit easier, pull those ones through a little bit to form a loop. And then those two that are going under, those two there, bring them round, up, round, and basically we're going to go, so we've gone under these two, we're going over those two, under those two, over those two. So just pull them through and then tuck those leads through like so. There we go. Pull them through like so. And then when we look at that, we then should have a nice carrick bend. There you go. And there, you can see that pretzel shape. That is the carrick bend that we're after. But what I really want to do now is I just want to go back and untwist these cords so they're all running parallel to each other. So just pull it through like so and just get it so that they are running parallel and it all looks a lot neater and tidier. And then let's see, where's this one here? So that one is coming up like so. Oh, so cross it at that point there. That point there. Just twist it so they're all running nice and flat and parallel to each other. Otherwise your diamond knot isn't going to look very nice, basically. So there, there, and there. Okay, and so there now we've got our carrick bend over. There's the pretzel shape. That's what we're looking for, the pretzel shape. And now basically what we're doing is these opposite ends here are basically going to go round, underneath, and then up through the middle at that point there. So it's going round, round the back of these two here, and up through the middle. So let's just do it one at a time, grab one lead at a time. Let's take that, the first lead, get the end of that, and so bring it round, the back of the two underneath there, round like so, and up through the middle. And just pull the excess on there. Okay, and then do exactly the same for the one next to it. Round, round the back, up through the middle, and bring it out. And just make sure that when you pull it up, they are still parallel to each other, which they're not, but they will be in a second. Okay, and so there we go. Up so, like there. Okay, so that's that one. So we've got to do exactly the same again with these two leads here. So they're going to go all the way round the back, like so. Let's just pull them round the back. And let's get all the leads through, like so. And then round the back, and then up through the middle. So grab the first lead. Let's see which is the first lead. That's my first lead. So basically, it's going round the back of those two there, and where are they? There they are. And then up through the middle. So up through there, and up through the middle, like so. That's it. Bring that up. That's it. And then do exactly the same for the next piece here. Follows the other one round and up through the middle, like so. There you go. And just make sure they're all nice and square and parallel, and then just gently tease the cords through, like so. Tease them through and push down on it, because you want to bring it up close to this one here, and it's quite close now, and gradually just jiggle it about, pull up, and then you can see all the excess here now. I'm going to work my way around and just pull up all the excess so that we get a nice tight knot like we did on the other side. And just gently pull it through, and just any crossings you've got, if you've got any crossings, just take them out of it, take the crossings out of the equation, and so that it remains nice and neat. And whilst it's loose, push from this end here so that you're actually getting all the slack into the main body of the knot itself. Okay, so what I'll do is I will just go round, and once again I will tighten that up and I'll come back. So once again, been round with my fid, working in the same direction to pull these up tight, and you can see now here my neck strap can go round, it can go around my neck now, and at the end of the actual neck strap itself we've got some very nice little diamond knots there. And so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to look at the book and see what Weavy wants me to do next, and then I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I'll see you again. Having read the book. Yeah, you always refer to a book at times. You don't remember everything in life. He wants in the book it suggests a 4-strand round sennet for about 10 inches running down here. So that's easy enough. And the way we tie the 4-strand round sennet, if I show you laid out flat like so, I have split my leads evenly at this point. The next thing I'm going to do is, it doesn't matter which side we start from, okay, so I'm going to take the right hand one and I'm going to go underneath 1, underneath 2, so it goes over that side like so, and then just bring round the excess. So we've gone, you can see here now, it's going underneath 1, underneath 2, and then it's coming round and going over the last one again, and then pull that up tight. So pull it up nice and tight so it forms snug at that point there, and then this time we do exactly the same on the opposite side. So on the opposite side we're going to go underneath this one, and then back over. So take it underneath 1, underneath 2, like so. So you can see there now we're going underneath 2, but I'm going to bring it over the final one again and then pull it all up nice and tight. Pull it all up nice and tight like so. Keep it nice and tight. And last time we worked on the left side, so this time we will do it on the right side. And sometimes you'll find when you're doing a continuous weave like this, sometimes it's best to hang this over a back door or something like that on a hook and work on it, but I'm just showing you flat on the table here so you can actually see how the weave works. So this time we're working on the right hand side. So the right hand side here, we want to go under 1, under 2, bring it over. So here we go, it's going under 1, under the second one, I'm going to pull through the excess like so. So we've gone under 2 here and over the last one again and pull it up nice and tight. And as you pull it up nice and tight, you will see a nice round sennet appearing there. And so that was the right hand side, and it's exactly the same now for the left hand side. The left hand side, so it's going under 1, under 2, and back over. So bring it back over like so, and back over, and spread the leads out nice and evenly and pull it up tight. Okay, and so there we go, and pull it up tight again, and we've got another one done. Okay, pull that out, and so this time underneath 1, underneath 2, but back over the last one, and it comes out on the right hand side. There we go, and pull that up. I think I'll probably be better off doing this hanging off a hook or something, because you want to keep the tension in here. But you can see here now, by following that pattern all the way along, we're ending up with a nice round sennet at that point. Okay, so I'm going to go and hang this over a hook. I'm going to do 10 inches, then I'll come back and show you the other end to start with, and then do 10 inches on that. So I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so as you can see, we've got our Portuguese sennet or cobra stitch, we've then got our diamond knot, and then we've got a 4-strand round sennet. And the thing is, when you're making this, just gently tease it and turn it and squeeze it just to make it all conform to uniformity and it will look so much smarter, and with use it'll loosen up slightly as well. And then once I've done, let's see, how much have I done here, because we want to do exactly the same on both sides. So I have done 10 inches. Okay, so there you go. I've done 10 inches from there to there in the round senate, and what I'm going to do is and what I've also done here is, when I've finished, I have tied it off here with a constrictor knot. Don't forget, constrictor knot will be in the description below for you to go and see how to tie that one. You will use it a lot. So the next thing I'm going to do is, now if we just fold this here, you can see where I had a knot here, where I had it tied around a hook. And you can see here now what the aim is here. Let's get all the garbage out of the way. Now the aim is here that this is the piece that goes around our neck. We've then got just 2 decorative knots at chin level here. And then basically when I've done this round one here, this round 4 strand on this piece here, it's going to be all nice, even and symmetrical. So I'm going to strand that all the way down to exactly the same point here as this one, because it wants to look symmetrical when you're wearing it. So let's just go and start this one off, and it's exactly the same knot as the other one. Split it into twos, into pairs on each side, and basically the outside one goes underneath 2. So take it underneath 2 like so, and then back over the one that it went under. Okay, so basically it goes from there underneath 2 and then back over, and you pull it over to the right hand side like so. And then what we do is exactly the same on the left hand side. So the left hand side, we take this one underneath, we're taking this one underneath that one, underneath that one, and back over. So let's bring it under, under, and back over. And that's it. It's exactly the same for both sides. But when you're doing it on a hook, you can keep the tension on it nice and tight, and it just makes it a much neater knot when you do it that way. And then, so we've done the left hand side, so now we do the right hand side, where we're going underneath 1, underneath the second, over it, and then back to the right hand side again. Okay, and so that's all we do for the next 10 inches. So once again, bye bye, see you in a bit, bye. Right, so as you can see, been a busy boy. Actually I was sat outside so I wasn't that busy, but what I've done is I have now made my second round plait here, and if I line up those 2 knots there, my seizing ends at exactly the same there when you take all the kinks out of it, and it's ending at exactly the same place. So I've got a nice symmetrical lanyard coming on here for my binoculars. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the cords, and let's see, just take one of the cords, get all of them out the way bar one. And so say for example I'm going to take this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to form a loop. Right, let's do that again so you can see it. What I'm doing is I'm going to form a loop, and this loop is going to attach around my binoculars itself. And so what you're doing is, what you want to do is measure up first. You want to hang this round your neck and decide how long you want your loops here. If you wanted to, you could make each individual part on the lanyard longer. But remember, if you're going to make it a bit longer than the measurements I say, you're going to need some more cordage. So the first one you do, just practice and see how much you need. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this cord here and form a loop, and then just tie it off with the remaining bit of seizing that I've got here that's knotting it all together at the top end. So just tie a knot in there like so, and we might as well just double it up and make sure it's secure. Okay, and so that's it. So that piece there is going to go into our binoculars itself. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I've turned my work over and I'm going to put a crown knot, or if it was up the other way, it would be a wall knot, same knot. And basically all I'm going to do is get hold of the first lead that I've got. So let's say this is the first lead here. I'll put my finger there to keep a loop because we want to keep a loop in there, and pass it over the one next to it. So that's passed over this one here. Now this one here goes under the work and passes over this one here. So pass it over and then just pull it in to position like so. We then take this one and pass it over the last lead here, and then the last lead we take it over and pass it down through our original hole just here. And there we go. Done that. And now I have formed a wall knot or a crown knot, but now when I turn it over, it's a wall knot. Okay, so that's now been formed at the bottom of my cord there, like so. Okay, so now that we've done that, you can see here now that there is a natural spiral in an anti-clockwise direction. So the next thing I'm going to do is follow that direction and tie a crown knot. So I've got a crown knot here. Oh, it's confusing for me. Crown knot there. Take the first one, pass it over the one next to it like so, but keep a loop there. Then take the next one and pass it over that one there. So it's passed over that cord there. We then take that cord there and pass it over this one here. So that one passes over that one. And then finally, this cord here will go down through our original loop, which we kept hold of down the bottom there. And then gently pull it up, and we will then have our crown knot created there. Okay? So we've now got our crown knot as such in there. Just pull that up gently, 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 and then let's get on to the next bit. And so the next bit is, you can see here now, where we've, let me get my pointer. Now where the crown knot comes out down the bottom here, you'll see it's running parallel to one underneath it. All right? And what we're going to do now is follow the one underneath each time. So in this particular case, the one underneath goes underneath and it comes out there. So I'm going to follow that and come out at that point there. A little bit tricky, but like I said, there's a video just on this knot itself, which I will put a link in at the end of this video. And so bring that round underneath and take that out of the way. The next one here, as you can see, it's coming along parallel with that one. So basically we want to poke up through that hole there and come out at the top like so. And then this one here, see this one here now, it's coming over this one here. So what we want to do is just basically follow that lead. So if we haven't got the gap, make a gap. So basically just push down gently, push it through like so, and it's coming out like so. And then the final one here is, see the final one's coming out here, one next to it, and we want to follow that one next to it like so. And so just follow it and bring it out through the gap. Out through the gap like so. Whoops, missing there. Has to follow that one underneath it. There we go. And you can see here now, take that twist out and it's now coming out here. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's just pull it up a little bit. Just pull on the cords gently, 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 and eventually you can see here that our diamond knot is starting to shape up. As I pull that to one side, you can see there all the cords there. If I just gently, gently pull on that, and bring out the shape there. And there you go. You see, we now have that diamond knot as such appearing there. But we're going to tuck these leads down now. And so basically, if I pull those out the way, except for our center strand here, you can see here where it comes up here, it goes, there's one there. But what we want to do is basically follow that direction there, but rather than following it all the way through, we want to tuck it down and bring it out at the bottom like so. So bring it out at the bottom like so, and there you go. And it's just put a nice little pattern in there. And so this one is coming out here. So it's coming out here, and we want to follow that one next to it and come down through the middle. So push it through till it comes out through the bottom again, like so, and there we go. And we'll repeat this on the other knot as well, so don't worry too much about it if you haven't got it first time. Then this one here, as you can see, this one here is coming out. We want to follow that one round there. It's all just the same pattern all the way through. Follow it down and bring it out through the bottom. Oh, and you can poke and prod a bit now because it's basically held itself in shape, and you just want to go back and just check if there's anything crossing. And so now pull that through like so, and that's coming out down through the middle there. And then finally this one here will follow that one round and come down out through the bottom as well. And so just poke it through, make some room for it. Oh, struggling to get this one in. Maybe I should have just melted the ends a bit more. Let's just give it some gap, and then we should be able to force it through. There we go. Last one's always tricky because don't forget it's always getting fatter in the middle, and so you're getting less room. And so now you can see here that we're starting to get that lovely diamond shape in there. Okay? And what I'm going to do now is basically work my way round, pulling up all the slack like so, till eventually we have a nice tight knot at that point there. Okay? And then that should come out through there. And then I'll just keep working all the way around, pulling up the slack. Wherever you find a bit of slack, pull it up and work it round so that eventually it comes out. I've lost the knot. Which one is it? That's it there. Pull it round, keep pulling round like so, and then pull it down on one of these cords here, and it'll come down through the middle. And just gently push it into place, and you can see here now, there's another one here that can be tightened up, and each time you're doing it, you're just doing that a little bit tighter until eventually you get a really tight, hard diamond knot shape at that point there. Okay, so I'm going to go around, and eventually I will be using my fid to tighten it up, but you can see here now we're starting to get a nice decorative knot there. And what I'll do is I'll show you again on this one here. Alright, so there we go. I've tightened it off. I've cut my spider's legs off. I hope I have. Hang on, what's here? Yeah, I've cut them off. And so now, clear the decks. Get rid of everything off the decks. And you can see now here, we have a nice decorative lanyard here that I will the next thing I will do is I'll put my finishing solution on it, And when I've put my finishing solution on it, I will then mount it onto my binoculars, and that's it, it's done. So, and basically, when you've done it, you can make this as long or as short as you want. I'll give you the measurements for this particular length of lanyard. Let's measure it for you, just to tell you how long it is. It is 23 inches in length, so that'll make it 46 inches if we stretch it out completely like that. So it's 23 inches in length. So if you want one a little bit longer, add some more cordage. If you want it a bit shorter, take some away. But when I look at the cordage that's left over, I didn't have much room to make much more anyway, when you look at these lengths here. And so yeah, that is basically it. That is our lanyard complete for my binoculars. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. You know, just tell me. If there's something you like or don't like, if I gob off too much, whatever you dislike, tell me about it, and at least I will try and change my ways in the next video to try and make it more enjoyable for people. But if you don't tell me in the comments section below, I don't know. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, please do share this, especially share it simply for the fact is other people will be able to benefit from this as well. So once again, thanks very much for watching, and don't forget, all the information will be in the description below, sizes, etc. So thanks again, bye bye.